we were talking off air, it's so good to see, it's refreshing. I mean, to come into Grand Bahama and then you come into something like into this space and you see something like Islandish going on and you see the professional stuff that's happening. So I'm relieved. It really is a good feeling. It's a refreshing
Wonderful,
feeling.
wonderful. It's good to have you. Before we dive into everything about you, I saw you took a photo at the Grand Bahama sign.
Yes.
You saw that and you enjoyed that. What's it like being back in Grand Bahama?
Grand Bahama is second home to me.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm here quite frequently. If you ask me what it is, I gotta say I don't know. It's God, but honestly, it's been a good run in Grand Bahama for me for the last few years, and so I am just happy to see that those persons in Grand Bahama support and show love. One for Bahamian culture, Rake Scrape music in particular, and then for myself, D-Mac as an artist, they're showing that love and appreciation. So I go I come here 1 week and I reach home, I get another call, and so it's always me being back and being back and forth in Grand Bahama to the point I'm looking at real estate and all right.
Love to hear that. Y'all hear that? Okay.
So so it's really been. I gotta send my thanks out and shouts out to Grand Bahama. So when you saw me took that photo and say I home, it was like, man, listen, it's a great feeling to be in Grand Bahama. I get the love in Grand Bahama. Right. I feel the energy in Grand Bahama, and so this is where I'm comfortable.
I love that. So now let's dive into who is D-Mac. Like I want to go all the way to the beginning. In terms of how did you pick up your first instrument? How did you start your first bit of singing? Like, what was your musical inspiration at a young age?
All right, so let me go let's go way back then. So Dillion Mckenzie, born to Lydia Newton out of Andros, Hubert Mckenzie out of Baratari, Exuma, got together, made myself, right? Hey. And so then my dad being a pastor of a church and my mom being a youth leader, you would imagine that I spend most of my time coming up inside the church.
Yeah, that sounds like my upbringing. Yeah.
There you go. So Sunday, I even got to tell you about that Monday prayer meeting where I say church again, Bible study, youth department. Hey, man,
I know what's going on.
So we grew up in a home with a piano as well.
Okay.
And so I try to make sure I keep this chronological so I can make sure it rides properly. Okay, so we grew up in a Christian home. My dad we had a piano, so there was always music inside our home.
Okay, understand.
But there was always gospel music inside our house. So for me, I never really got that experience in terms of what people would call gombe at the time, and the type of music that was playing back in those days. And it was a godmother of mine, and I used to always like to go to this godmother because she had these records, and I always was fascinated by records and music and playing these records, and it was like, so I was like, God, do you have any of that music? And she's like, you should knock me back in the day. Now I really understand. She's like, you want to hear this blues music? Right. So she playing this music, and I say, man, I like that. And she always played as a young child. She would always play it. So I would always like to go by here to listen to these blues records. And so funny that the only records that we had in our home that I would say was remotely close would have been like an Eddie Menace. Of course, Eddie Menace is a Christian. He's up in the church guy. Right. But he wrote a lot of songs with it, and he had Ronnie Butler singing quite a bit. So I got that Ronnie Butler kind of flavor from that type of music. And then so now fast forwarding into now, for me it was always being musically inclined. So I learned my first chords from my brother Kevin Mckenzie. Right on that piano in the house. Started playing piano in the house for, of course, every Sunday morning you have devotion. So Sunday morning I would be playing it for devotion. My dad now, to encourage me to get more into the church scene. I was a young little 15, 16-year-old, wanted to drive, so he would let me drive to church every Sunday morning. That would get me into church. So I started playing for the little young kiddies kind of thing.
Yeah, the children's choir.
The youth choir. Then eventually playing generally for the entire church. At one particular point in time, playing full services and all that stuff like that. And it really broadened my ability to be able to play music. My brother Kevin Mckenzie, who was deceased, I don't know if you know him, but he's the one that sings "They Don't Know You Till You're Dead." Yeah. And so he had some albums out, and he at one time brought some equipment. Well, okay, even before that, we learned the keyboard. Kevin came in. But I was always curious as to the makeup of this music as far as I was playing piano, because I heard music. And going to school, there were in our music classes, our music teacher would ask us to identify instruments.
By sound, yes.
So that, you familiar with that?
Yes,
as well,
I'm familiar
with
that.
So by getting into that, it showed me the breakdown of music, and I was always interested in finding out how we create this music. Now, there was one particular thing which is so funny that I got to bring, because I was a DJ at one point.
I read about that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad said to me one time, my dad, Christian guy, education that's it. Talk.
Yes.
So my
God
dad,
and education.
That's it.
That was
my
it.
dad, my mom pulled me upstairs. They say, Daddy, say, hey, son, you're getting older. What you want to do when you grow up? What you want to be?
Yeah.
Say, Daddy, I want to be a DJ. My old lady say, no way in the world no DJ coming in this house. No way. He ain't happening.
I rebuke you.
Listen, babe.
I know. I know
that. I must say what kind of oil and everything get fling at me,
Mm-hmm.
And so she say, man, there ain't no thing there that ain't happening. So I go downstairs and my dad comes down behind me in about a half an hour and he says, son, is it what you really want to do? I say, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He say, how much it costs? When I started to research, Kevin, my brother, was the broker. He went and bought some equipment. I started DJing.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when my love really grew for music, exploring the different genres of music as well, and also playing this music. So Kevin, now we go to Kevin when he was recording an album, and he bought some equipment from a gentleman that owned the studio.
Okay.
He brought it home, and I started playing around with those equipment, and putting little beats and stuff together, and it was just a natural thing for me with the connection with the music, and I started producing from then. I know I was kind of cool with it because I started now with other studios were calling me to produce, especially drum tracks, to create drum tracks for them. So I would be around, bouncing around studio, creating drum tracks and stuff like that. And then it even grew into more where I started producing like full-time music at those particular spaces. But my brother Kevin when he brought the equipment on, I started producing music for Kevin.
Okay. And
so we used to do competitions back in the day. I don't know why they stopped it, but there are a lot of song competitions back in the day.
Yeah.
And so we used to do like, one in particular what really got us is my studio's the studio that I have now. So the name of it is Commonwealth Recording Studio.
Okay.
And so that came because one particular competition, it was the Commonwealth Song Competition.
Okay.
The Commonwealth Song Competition, we produced a song called Piece of the Pie, Commonwealth Pie, and that song won locally in the Bahamas, then it won regionally, and then we won the whole Commonwealth. And so we were able to travel into Africa, into Zimbabwe, to the heads of government conference, and to perform it. Yeah, and so that was absolutely bonkers because it was two persons, myself, I produced the entire song, sang background vocals for this particular song, and we took like all my brothers and stuff, like about 9 of us, we took a full band and we went down to perform. But the proceeds from that, we used to purchase our first set of equipment.
Okay.
And we called the studio Commonwealth Recording Studio because we wanted
because of that. What happened?
So that's how we ended back in the study. I got in this, we were in a study, a room into the house, and all of a sudden now we win this competition, so I have a lot of persons coming in, they want music done. So I keep recording, and then my dad comes one day and said, no, can't wait. You got too much people
coming to my house.
Tracking through this house. You're not got to find somewhere else.
To go.
Yeah, so my dad at the same time, if I tell you a story about my daddy, it'll be crazy and I'll be about 2 days. But my dad also was a contractor.
Okay.
And an accountant and many other things. But so he had a building that he had built, and so we say, well, maybe you need to find a space. He said, well, okay, y'all go use one of these apartments.
Right.
So we turned an apartment into a studio. We started recording, and from then I just got an influx of persons recording music. First, it was gospel music, and to be honest, my first set of music that I was producing was R&B.
I could see that. I could see that. Your voice gives, I can see it.
Yeah. It was R&B and reggae, so the likes of like the Christian Massives and all of those.
Right.
I was producing them, Landlords, and I was producing all of these guys. Like predominantly it was gospel at first, but it was like the Caribbean gospel stuff. A little bit some R&B, but mostly that's when I got more of the reggae stuff started.
Right.
And then I got introduced to this guy, Ira Storr. Of course, you know Ira, the legendary, right? So Ira and KBDOS were touring one time, and they came back into now. So he came into the studio, and I looked outside, and I saw this guy with some braids coming way down here, and I was like, man, who this freak is coming inside this place, man, you know? But he come in there, he knocked on the door, he said, man, what's up, man? You doing some things, I got some stuff. And we got together and we started making some music. And it was like that was the birth of us really tapping into this Rake and Scrape market.
Right.
With Ira Storr. We started doing albums for like G&O-D and Avi and Stalit and all of those. Those are most of the persons that came around. And then he got a studio. And so we started doing this thing, and I continued on, and I started to grow my clientele in terms of who I was recording. So to the likes of almost everybody I have done songs for.
Yes.
But most of the time, so for me, when people see D-Mac and they see stage, this wasn't who I started out. I started out as that producer, then the songwriter.
Right.
Because at one particular point in time, I was producing about 80% of the music that was being played on radio at one particular point in time. And writing quite a bit of them too, because I got about 145 songs that I've written out there that other artists sing.
Right.
So
I heard that.
Yeah, it's just so that's basically how I started. So I would normally record myself producing a track, like say I would do like the Islanders for Party in the Backyard.
Got you.
So somebody say, man, I need you to do a song for the Islanders. I say, okay, cool. So I know their style. So I would produce an entire song, write the lyrics, sing all background vocals, do everything complete.
And then they just gotta get it.
And then I give it to them to learn. And then all I do is take out the lead vocal.
Got you.
And then I put their vocal on it, and then I release the song. And so that's how it was going for a lot of years. Until my daughter and all my friends around me say, man, why do you keep giving people songs, and you need to sing these songs and you need to do your own stuff. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to be a competition to my clients, so I don't really
understood. I get that angle.
And so, but a lot of studios started to spring up, and so clients started to water down. Part of it was in the industry. We probably could talk about that later, but part of it is in the industry when you start watering down your product. It changes. Yeah. Because everybody, if you charge $2 and somebody charges 50 cents, of course you can go where the 50 cents is, but not necessarily meaning you can get the best.
The $2 value.
Right, but you're going for it. But so that started happening, and so I turned it. So then I started. All those songs that I had already produced, written, and had my vocals on, I just started to release them.
Makes sense.
I just started to release them, and they were just like one after the other.
Hitting.
Just hitting. I remember one time I made a challenge, and the challenge was for me to release. Okay, so for the album that I released, that I did the 10 songs, my first album, I challenged myself to write 10 songs in 10 days. I did the 10 songs in about 4 days.
Nice.
So I had it done. So I was now shopping these songs around to the likes of most of the bigger artists. But they weren't really responding like the way I was looking for them to respond. And so I said, well, anyhow, that's when I got the encouragement, do it yourself, all of that. So I pushed the songs out there. I said, I'll do one song a month for a year, release on the radio. Now, first when I started, the radio stations were like, boy, you crazy. We ain't gonna release no one song from no Bahamian artist once a month. And I was like, well, why? I mean, you got the guys who doing reggae music, you'll hear music from them.
Yeah.
Next month you'll hear another song.
Another song on another rhythm,
if
right?
You're doing the trending stuff. Why not? Why won't you do it? He said, well, it's just never been done. I said, well, then it's time. Let's change this.
Do something different, right?
So I started to release, and what happened was, the first song I released in January, they got it. Everybody released it. Bang, bang, bang. The second song, I released. Some radio stations took it up, some didn't. By the time as the third month, March, by the time it was the third month, I had radio stations calling you asking me,
where the song?
Send me the new one. We need the exclusive. We want to release this before.
Right, before everybody else.
And so it started like that third month, like straight on for 12 months, and it was just a song per month for a year. And after that, that's when really the D-Mac thing just really
took a life of its own on.
Yeah.
I love that. One thing I can say about you, I don't have to worry about you because you're a talker.
Yeah.
Because that one question took us straight into our commercial break.
You serious?
I'm so serious.
You asked me my story. I had to give the story.
Right. I love that though. I love that. I didn't have to pry it out of you. It just came pouring out with one question.
That's my passion, man.
I love it though. That means this is going to be really, really fun. So you guys stay tuned as we take this quick commercial break, and then I can try to ask Mr. D-Mac some questions.
Yes.
Hi everybody, I'm Jason.
And I'm Cheryl. Join us here on Superior Talk Bahamas YouTube channel every Tuesday at 6 for Let's Talk,
where we talk about issues that matter to you. We try to come up with workable, practical solutions so we have more action and less talk.
See you on Tuesday.
That's right, you guys. You're locked into Islandish Podcast here with Mr. D-Mac, episode 30. Now, before we get into that, make sure you guys are subscribing to the Superior Talk channel. Hit the subscribe button below. Make sure you are sharing and sending this to your family members and friends. And leave comments down below. I might send them to D-Mac so we could tell you a little hi or something.
Yeah, send them.
Send them, see?
Yeah, send them.
He can say a little something. All right, so you told an amazing story. But one of the things I do want to dive into is, what was your real motivation? I know you said you loved music, and that first part of your life, that was mostly what you were around for the most part. But what instruments other than piano did you play, and what inspired you to keep going with music? Is it because it just was there?
Other instruments, mostly keyboards and drums.
Okay.
Those are the two instruments that I really started on. As I told you, I was programming drums for those different studios back in the day, and more keyboards because I was doing MIDI control, meaning that most of the instruments that you hear playing on these tracks actually come from keyboards.
Right.
So it's just mainly keyboard. But because I had the training back in the day of identifying sounds, and I really like to focus on the way that sounds are played, like a sax, how a sax would play. Most persons would play it full chords on a keyboard, and that sound like a horn thing. No, I break them up and I play those particular instruments individually, so it would sound like there's a human actually playing those particular instruments.
Got you.
And so the love comes from the challenge of being able to create something magnificent. At the end of the day, you start from zero, maybe that's a little piece of an idea, and when you finish at the end of the day, you got this massive thing going on, and then you could put it out there for, you could put your creative work out there for folks to say, oh, we like this stuff. What is it, man? Boy, I know you're seeing hitting this one or whatever, but it's always that next level challenge always.
I love that answer. I like that response. So you're more, I don't want to say, you're more of a creative than a musician. And what do I mean when I say that? I mean that in terms of people who create content, people who are painters, people who are this, people who are that. Sometimes they're just in love with the journey of creating something new and watching it like be born and brought to life in a sense.
Yeah, that's me. I would say that's me more than being the artist. It's more that creative soul.
Yeah.
So under my portfolio, well, I own the recording studio, but under my portfolio is sound, lighting, stage. I do that as well.
Okay.
So it's the full production, and that allows me, that expands me and allows me to really encompass the entire industry as from the media perspective, to really look at the industry, and then I look for things that I'm missing, and I always try to improve, and that's why looking in the studio, I'm like, yeah, I know what's going on,
right.
Kind of way. So I know about the technology, but when I see it, I'm like, yeah, thumbs up. There's some good stuff going on.
Wonderful. Thank you. We really like that.
Yeah.
You had a Mr. Sweden? Yay. Yeah. Okay, so my other question now would be, when it comes to you transitioning from being music producer, writer, and then deciding to get into actually singing, how exactly did that happen? Because even speaking to persons like Stevie S and a few other Bahamian artists, they'd say, like, I ain't the best singer, but I sing the song, and people say they like how I sound. So I just keep singing. Yeah. So are you someone like you're in love with singing and performing, or is it because you had to pivot in that direction? That's just something you fell in love with?
Nothing I had to fall in love with. Like I said, earlier on in my career, I was actually writing these songs, producing those songs for many artists. And so me singing, meaning that I actually sang the songs.
Before.
And then I sang the background vocals on all of the songs. So all of the vocals, when you would hear, if you would look at the credits and you would see background vocals Dillion Mckenzie, keyboard Dillion Mckenzie, bass Dillion Mckenzie, drums Dillion Mckenzie, produced by Dillion Mckenzie, mixed by Dillion Mckenzie, mastered. But for me, when I made that pivot, honestly, it was because I got that, I got encouraged to do it because, like I said, my daughter was telling me, like, Daddy, man, and I said, you know what, man, let me try it out. Let me make her happy and give her something. And she was like, and it just mushroomed. And I was getting that comment from a lot of persons, like, dude, you're doing all this music.
Yeah, you're giving away the gems.
Yeah, why you just don't do your own stuff like that? You know what I mean? And so over time, and then, like I said, with other studios and the business starting to change, the dynamic of the business, I said, well, anyhow, now I think it's a good time that I can transition into that.
Okay, so let's dive more into your music and your opinion of your music. What do you think was the best song you ever wrote? Or at least give me a top 3, if you can't give me specifically one.
songs I've ever wrote. Party in the Backyard would be one.
Okay.
Songs that I've written. Stealing Love back in the day would definitely be one of the greater ones that I wrote before as well.
Okay.
More recent would I probably have to put Dog Don't Bark, I Park Car, and that's 3 already. So another 4th one is like Looking for Sugar.
Okay.
Garland definitely is the thing, but when you talk about writing, I kind of went a different way with Garland, although that's one of the more popular or the most popular one.
Yeah.
But when you talk about writing, that was the one. That was the one.
I wanted to ask you about that song next, like, because I don't think a lot of people know like a garland is like a bird.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that.
Right.
They think a garland is like, I don't know based on what you describe it as. I feel like that's a type of personality.
Yeah.
Rather than just comparing it to the actual animal.
Very true. Garland is a folklore. It's a folklore story, right? It's a West Indian story, and the Garland story is about this guy that in a small settlement, very small settlement, let's say in Andros, small settlement in Andros, goes out onto the bay. And he sees the most beautiful woman that he has ever seen in his life, and she's out there. And so immediately he takes her and he carries her into the settlement. And you know how it go with us. I'll bring it down in the Bahamian style. So you know how we go as men when we see that, we say, boy, I like your boy, gal, or whatever. Even though your boy just bring the gal in there, but she's the fine thing. So anyhow, so he say, you know what, boy, I can marry this woman, I can lock it on because she's beautiful. Just meet her. They didn't really know her like that. But, he lock it on. So he's a construction dude, goes to work every morning. So he jumps out of his house every morning and he goes to work and leave his wife home. And then his boys, they duck and work. They wait until she come out so they can look at her and seek.
Right.
And this day, and so the guys actually watch her walk out of the house, walk down to the bay. And they looking at her, watch her as she move and watch her figure. But she actually, as she walks down, she turns into this ugly bird called the Garland. And she starts pecking in the sand, pulling out worms and stuff like that. And she starts singing, "Damn fool, you married the Garland."
Right.
So these boys, them now, they see that boy, they going back to their boy, and now it's a different type of mission now. They going back to their boy and say, "Hey boy, listen.
You need to come see
it. You need to come check this thing out. But your wife, your wife is a Garland dog.
Right.
Your wife ain't what you think, babe.
Right.
Ain't like that, but you better come look at this." So in denial, he like, I ain't getting. So the boys, obviously, they stop watching because they realize she's a Garland.
Right.
So one day he just says on his mind, he say, well, you know what? Anyhow, let me check it out. He says he's going to work, watches her walk down the beach, and she walks down the bay. This woman that he loves, and turns into this ugly bird. So he end up killing the bird.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
That's actually very, and that's one thing I love about Bahamian music. A lot of times we don't take the time to try and, all right, what the song really about?
The backstory.
Or the backstory of it.
Yeah, and it's true. It's true. And like you could just, everything that glitters ain't gold. If you
right.
you gotta make sure, take time to know it. Back in the day, I was on song with Spicy Sledge, I think, you better know what you're getting into before you really go all gung-ho into things.
Right.
And you could apply that to most things in life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take your time, study, make sure you know exactly what you want to do and make sure you're making the right decisions when you're making those,
I love that. Now, talking more about your music, which song turned out to be more of a success than you thought it would have been? Like it surprised you?
Honestly, Garland surprised me.
Really?
Yeah, Garland surprised me. Garland was around the first set of the songs I actually was singing.
Yeah.
So this was in my stage when I was like just trying to figure out who I was as an artist and doing this thing. But I'll never forget, I got to give a shout out to DJ Pencil. And he was like, I was one of the part owners or managers at the Deli Tree at the time. And so I would take some of the music. He was a DJ there at that time. And I would take these songs because, like I said, I was shopping the songs before I started singing them. I would take it to him and say, Pencil, what you think? And he's like, yeah, I like this one. Yeah, I don't know, whatever, right? And so he picked the gun and he's like, hey, this right here, this the song. And I was like, man, you think so?
Right.
He said, yeah, man, yeah. And he started playing in the club and then he started pushing it around and I started getting it out to the DJs and the radio stations. And the thing just off.
Thing hit.
The thing just whop. It was on.
Love it.
Yeah. So that was one, let's say, underestimate. And then after that, I guess that's where my confidence came in, and so I was like just rolling them out.
Okay. Yeah. So you already answered one of my questions when I was going to ask you one of your first international performances. It would have been when you went to Africa with the Commonwealth song.
With the Commonwealth song.
Good.
More notable recently would have been when we went to Dubai to represent the country.
Right.
To perform there as well.
Love it.
Trinidad, we've been there. Canada, we've been there. Yeah.
What's your process like when it comes to writing music? Like, because when I spoke to Stevie, he writes music backwards. He tells me, because he's a musician first and a singer. So he does all the music and everything and the beat first, and then he figures out some words.
Same here.
Okay.
Similar for me. I get a hook, and then when I get the hook, I build off the hook.
Okay.
And then I build verses and stuff around that.
Okay,
so
makes
that's
sense.
how I build. So I get a hook, I'd be like, hey, let's go. So I get the hook, and I go full background vocals, everything.
Okay.
So I got that hook, and that chorus is like finished before even the rest of the song is done. And then I start building off the other parts of the song. That's my creative mode.
Okay, so what were some of your Bahamian musical inspirations? Like persons that you really either wanted to be like or look up to when you first started producing and making music?
I mean, back in that time, there was, the Godfather himself, Ronnie Butler, would have been that person that I really was looking at, because those are some of the songs that I was listening to.
Got you, yeah.
As that person going to my godmother and hearing these things. And I have to say Eddie Menace as well, because Eddie Menace, there were more of those persons that left an impression on me, because those were the music that these two like albums that we would have had in the house that I could listen to.
Right.
Now, not the party album from Ronnie Butler, because my old man definitely
ain't having that. Right.
But so those are more the persons. And then I watch, for me, I'm a person that find myself kind of directly planted mid this industry, in the middle of this industry, meaning in terms of my age and where I sit.
Yes, I was gonna mention that too.
Yeah, because in that era, I've watched the Ronnie Butlers.
Yes.
I've watched the same person we talked, Eddie Menace. Then also I watched the transition into KB.
Yes.
I've seen that as well. And I did the KBs, the Gino D's, the Funky D's, the Therese Hepburns, the Nitas, the Spice.
Right.
And all of those persons I've had an opportunity to produce music for.
Right.
So I was in that era watching that transition from Ronnie straight into this other era with KB Doors. And then moving even into another era with Avi and Stalik Doors at that particular point in time as well. All of those were before I really started as D-Mac.
Yeah.
But I was in the field.
In the field doing music.
I was producing. And then D-Mac came in.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the
That's an interesting story, because people will feel like you just came around if they don't, because Bahamians don't like to read no credits. They ain't reading the back of the album.
No.
They know D-Mac. They know that's also Dillion Mckenzie.
No,
so you kind of marrying the two together, which is what I like. So they can know, don't play with my boy. All right? Some respect on
I
that.
been your man. I don't know
you've been around the block.
Yeah.
So with that being said, which Bahamian artists have you worked with that you thoroughly enjoy working with? Not playing favorites, but who you know, like, boy, we can have a session.
Tread. There's so many of them, man, because it's always
Something different?
Yeah. When these artists come in and different characters, so it's a lot of fun. I can name them Avi, James, Stalik, don't care who it is. It's Sweet Emily. It's always that bond in studio. And that's what I think I have a niche for. Making everybody, so I could get the best out of you.
Right,
I make you feel I make you feel like you in your own space, and this space is yours, and you could let down your hair,
right?
And we could just go for it and get the best out of it. And so it is always, there are interesting sessions where folks would come and you'd be like, dog, you really can't sing, bro. But then you say things and you suggest maybe you should get something. Let me call my boy, see if we can come voice this for you and everything cool like that. And then there are folks who say, man, I really want to just do it. And I say, okay, cool, let's work. But for me, the environment is always fun. If it isn't fun, then I don't want to do it.
Right.
So I always create an environment. When you talk about favorites, like I say, I'll give you the Genos, I'll give you the Avis and the Staleets, because those are the ones who really come to mind. Like, they were really exciting, and Avi is a character, so don't care what happens. When he come in, he can make it. Geno and Ira and all of those, I know them from back in time, and so we talking different eras too. So we talking when I first started producing in the Geno D's and the stuff like that, and then in the next era would have been the Avis era.
Right.
The Geno D's would have been in that first era, and the Avis would have been like in that second era and coming up.
Okay, great. So I like where this is going. Now we're going to dive when we come back from this commercial break. We're going to talk a lot more about music today and your views on the music industry as it is now.
Oh, gee.
Yes.
Oh, boy. That's the 3-minute segment.
Yes, we can take our commercial break and come right back.
Yo, what's up, Bahamas? My name is Andrew Williams, aka Cat.
And I'm your boy Mix.
And we're representing Off the Bench, the #1 talk sportcast in the Bahamas.
In the world, my boy.
My bad partner. So we cover anything sports throughout the Bahamas. We cover our Bahamian athletes wherever they are, and they're making waves in sports. We cover them.
Hey, just tune in. That's every Wednesday here on Superior Talk at 6:00 p.m.
Sharp. The #1 talk show in the world, Craig.
Yes, we are back with Islandish Podcast here with Dillion Mckenzie AKA
Islandish, yeah.
D-Mac, and we are going to get into it. Now we're talking about music as it is today.
Okay.
What are some young, new Bahamian artists, whether they're doing Rake Scrape or anything else, that you have noticed or take note of right now in the industry?
Some of the younger artists that are coming up, that I'm taking notice of is an artist like Shine 242, Iron, Zaria, like the two Zarias.
Right.
Johnny Cake is making
really good
some strides.
Stuff. Yeah.
Who else is there? Oh, the song by Twin Them, they just did that song. I like the song with Twin Them did. And then you got the Julian Belize who's doing his thing. And then we have Raikon here in Grand Bahama, along with Sherrod, who's doing. All of them are doing some pretty nice stuff. Shouts out to Papa Smith as well too.
Yeah,
who's doing his thing. The younger cats, they coming up. They coming up. They're doing their thing. I think the music has to be refined a bit, but I really do think they're working hard. And this thing happen.
So the reason why I asked that too is because, especially on my podcast and on my radio show, we talk a lot about the difference in the caliber. And you even mentioned it a little bit as well when you said about, my studio price may be $2, but you see one for 50 cents, so you can go there. Do you feel like a lot of times young Bahamian artists aren't taking the engineering side of it as seriously?
That's a great question. And if we talk about that, we'll have to dive into really talking about the involvement of Bahamian music. Okay. Because while I do give praises and I do give the accolades to those that are coming up, my thing for them would be we have to make sure that and understand. We talk about the baton, and if you want to pick up this baton and understand what it is, then you have to really know that we are on a mission, and the mission is continuing. It doesn't stop here in this country. Right. For me, the visionary that I am, if I die without getting Bahamian music or my music, but not my music in particular, any Bahamian song really on an international level, then I think I have done an injustice. Right. So we all have to understand that we are on this quest to grow this thing. Meaning, so growing it, we have to understand that this industry has to grow. And for the industry to grow, then we have to look at where we're lacking in order for us to fill in the gap and grow. Meaning that sonically, our music has to sound a certain way. You spoke about engineering. Right. Our music has to be mastered properly. Yeah. You have to know about that. We even have to be educated to also know about the different intricacies in terms of copyright, all of these things, publishing, the split sheets, and what's yours and what's the next one, so that we can know how to intelligently have a conversation and to do business properly. Right. In the Bahamas, work for hire, knowing all of those type of things. Then lyrical content as well. We have to also watch out for that, where we're going, what we're writing for the international world to hear. Yeah, understood. We have to be careful of that as well. So in growing and giving those praises and the accolades is also understanding that we have a mission and we have to grow this music, but we have to grow it properly. Yeah. And we have to do it together. Yeah. And the reason why, because we have this conversation a lot with Bahamian artists when they come on the show, is, and I feel like that's just me and the Bahamian pride in me. I feel like we let Afro beats kind of skip us in the line of music genres that are distinct for certain places. Because, you know, reggae had their time in their season, championed by Bob Marley and several other big fields in that industry. Correct. And then when it was like, all right, Bahamian music was right there, because we had Bahamian. Correct. We had certain people that was... You wanted something, you know. Yeah. Serious, you were one way. Right, it's like, but we was right there, and that is the thing. Listen, the baton just dropped. Oh man! So me being a person that come through the era of the Ronnie, watch the Ronnies, the KBs, and come into the Avies and the Mays and all these other kind of things. We always fight when we write to the top. We always find something that chops us right down, man. Right. Listen, I'll tell you this too. There's all kind of things. Like, so for me, even soca music did it. Yeah, soca music. Carnival did it for us. Yeah, they did. Carnival did it for us, and it chopped us right back down. When we were right there, getting up that hill, the music it came and just what? throw us right back out, that kind of way. And so we always get to this point where the entertainers and the persons in the industry always have to fight to get it back. Now I see in young people now, I got to give them credit because I see a lot of young people sculling and doing their thing like that. And so we have a momentum going. Now it's where do we go? How do we package this and to take this into the next level?
Yes.
And then 2, understanding what the components are we going to make them that persons are going to identify our music by.
Yeah.
And that's very important because a lot of people say, well, we can fuse. But I always say to thine own self, be true. In order to be able to fuse, you have to be proficient and you have to be like the person or that guru or that person, that go-to person that can make it happen in order for you to still hear the Bahamian elements in this music. And that's very important. Not just taking a saw every now and then and say, oh, that's Bahamian music. It don't work like that. Because you can't do that with reggae. You don't hear the chink chink when they remixing a reggae. You don't hear chink. Bars down. Then at the end of the song, you hear a thing. No, you don't hear that. They have a rhythm. You understand what I'm saying? And when you hear it, you identify it.
Right.
So same thing with compound music, same thing with soca music, same thing with Afrobeat, same thing with all of the other genres. You know what I'm saying? And so we need to make sure that we're careful. Be careful that we don't dilute it to the point where we miss.
Yes.
So when persons identify it, they say
mixing us up, it's something else.
Yeah, because if they hear it, if you mix it with Afrobeat and they say that's Afrobeat, then you definitely ain't got the formula.
Right. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
100%.
If they identify and say, man, that's R&B. Then it ain't Bahamian music, ain't Rake and Scrape. Because you want to tell them, man, this Rake and Scrape.
Right.
So they need to hear, okay, this element. Now they say, oh, well, I could hear one little taste of Afro in there. Something like that.
Yeah.
But if the vibe is oversaturated, I always use the analogy of a cake. You baking a cake. If you're baking a carrot cake, what's the main ingredient?
Carrot.
All right then. So when you tasting that and all of that stuff, all the grittiness and everything, you need to taste that in the cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you come and you just get 140 ounce of Bacardi Gold and you pour that on that, what that become?
That's a rum cake.
But people would still say it's a carrot cake.
Yeah. Okay.
See, the person who bake it,
they know they're supposed to be.
They still say, oh, no. This is a carrot cake. Because they know they don't put the carrot in there, but it's how you measure it. So for me, when I talk about music and I talk to the younger person, I say, listen, man, it ain't really about what you are, it's how much. And it's just like a recipe. 1 cup of this, 2 spoons of that, a tablespoon of this. You have to make sure that the sound is still identifiable as you add other ingredients to it to make it your own.
Right.
To make it your own now.
Right.
I'm saying don't do it, but you have to make sure that you're careful when it's heard, it's identified as, oh man, that's Rake and Scrape.
Right.
You know, that kind of way. Or they'll say something different. I did a reggae song with MDs. Thanks for leaving. It's a rhythm was reggae infused with Rake and Scrape infused with reggae, right? So MD is a reggae artist. Me and MD were boys. So we say, hey, let's try put the two together. So we did the song. I was in studio. Somebody came and brought an artist to do a dub plate. I was in the studio mixing. I took me and MD's vocal off, and I was just fine tuning the music. And so about 5 minutes later, the door bust open. Boom! So I said, what's going on? The guy say, open the mic. I have an idea. I say, what?
Okay.
So I go on in the studio. This guy starts singing, thank you for life, Jaja. Oh, yeah. I'm like, what? What's this? Jacure.
Love it.
In the studio. And so we went back in the studio now. So we having a good time. We back in there talking. He done finished the dub plates. And he said, bring the song back because he won't finish the song now. This is a dude I ain't got to pay him $1
right.
for the song. So he comes back inside there. And now we in the room. We in the mix room. And he's like, man, y'all, shh. What's that? I'm like, what? He's like, what? That. He say, take my voice off. I took his voice off. I muted his voice. Start playing the music. He listening to it. He says, no, man, mute this and take this out and take that out. He say, that, what that is. You know what it was?
What?
The song, the goatskin drum.
That sound, that's a unique sound though.
So he said, that's the music right there. He said, that's right there. That's the new age. This man said himself. He said, that's the new age right there. Just like that. That's what got him inside the room. So it says our music is infectious.
Yeah.
You know?
Very, very. And I think we big ups to Mr. Martin. We was talking about this the other day when it came to Bahamian music, because when we were on the radio station, and this leads me to my next question, it was a debate on what a Bahamian artist is. And I said, you don't ask artists from Canada what is a Canadian artist. They're an artist who does whatever music that they do.
Genre.
Right. Yeah. So it's up to you to like, all right, if you want to be classified as just being a Bahamian who's doing music, then that's on you. But you could call yourself a Bahamian Rake and Scrape artist.
Correct.
Or a Bahamian rapper.
Reggae artist, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You could be any of these things. But if you want to be a Bahamian Rake and Scrape artist, like you said, it's certain things with the sound that have to be specific.
Yeah.
So what sounds do you classify is necessary for you to call yourself a Rake and Scrape artist? Like you need to have these couple of sounds for it to be Rake and Scrape.
Three instruments.
Okay.
Guitar,
Okay.
the saw, and the goat skin. Those are three components that
Okay.
really would turn out. And not just the guitar playing any particular type of thing, because guitars play different styles, right?
That's true.
So reggae go chink, 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 chink. Reggae scrape go chink,
Got you.
so go to see how you bobbing here? That gives the energy.
Right.
So those are the things that really drive the energy inside Rake and Scrape to me. Now, you put your kick and you put your bass behind it, but you could always put those. But the main ingredients when you're talking about creating that rhythm and getting folks to move are those particular keys. Because you could go with the kick, you go, or you could go, so you can change the kick around.
Yeah.
The bass go dum 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 dum, I could go dum 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 dum. So it can do different things. That's why I didn't really use the bass. Of course, when you're mixing, kick and bass, that's the two when you're mixing.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the makeup of it, what it can really can drive it to that identification, then it's the style of the guitar, the raking of the saw, and the goat skin. Those three elements make it. Then you look at reggae, basically the one drop of this. If you want a one drop, you can't do nothing else.
Right.
If you want that, if the outcome
Right.
is reggae,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you're looking for Afrobeat. Those are the kind of foundational stuff that is being done inside. And so that's why I keep saying we just need to make sure experiment more and be more intentional when we're doing our music.
Right.
To even as we EQ and even as we mix these those instruments into the song, be intentional on how you do it and pay attention on how to mix it, because we have to get to the point where when you listen to it, you identify it and you can produce it. Our good producer next door could produce it. I could be producing, but when you listen to it, sonically, it sounds the same.
Yeah.
That's
I see what
part
you're
of
saying.
our.
Gotta have the DNA in it.
It has to have the DNA.
Right.
That's. I think that's what we're missing, and so we need to be able to get together at some particular point in time. Those in the creative sphere, those in the production sphere, get together, have a conclave, have something where we could actually discuss how we can take this song forward, and then let's agree on something. Maybe the hi-hat, when we tune it, we could put a little 10K in this, take out the 3K, do whatever have you, to say, hey, this is how we tune it.
Right.
Because when you hear the Haitians have their thing, they know.
This how it's supposed to sound.
You go to them, and you hear Comba, they don't know the frequencies. They know what frequencies to use. And so I think we need to get to that point where we understand, like, and if it's reggae, you could get most reggae engineers, when you hear them, they got their go-to thing. And then you hear it, basically be like, oh, wow, all it sounds the same.
Yeah.
When you hear those frequencies that they're using, I think we need to get to that particular point when we know how we tune in our guitars and what frequencies we're using. When we're doing our hi-hats, when you're doing the saw, to know how to get the saw out of the way, but still be in the mix.
Yeah, got you.
The guitar and the saw basically they're playing similar. They're sounding similar, so how to EQ it, how to change it, where do you place it? I think we need to have those discussions, and so that we can create one sound, so that it's identifiable, don't care where it goes.
Right, yeah. And she's sharing it too, because a lot of these things I starting to learn interviewing y'all. I did not know about Bahamian music, like, it's all of that, like all of this, all of that goes into it.
Oh, it's deep now.
Yeah, because I think it's because, and I think my dad is the person who told me this. It takes talent to make something look easy. Like, you have to be gifted.
Correct.
And a lot of Bahamian artists, a lot of Bahamian bands, like, they make it look so easy.
Effortless.
Like, y'all just get up there, and some of y'all can't sing. But when y'all get up there and y'all sing because you in it. And it's your song, and you love this, and you love performing.
And then get the energy,
easy.
man. It gives you that energy.
Right.
Sheesh.
You excited to perform tonight for Gombe?
I am overexcited, man.
Yeah?
Listen to me. Anytime it's Grand Bahama, I get the opportunity, I come in because... I can be straight up with you, boy. See, I got to be straight up with this.
I love that. That's what the chair does.
When artists them talk, right? So artists them be like, boy, Grand Bahama, I don't know. But you ever sing in Grand Bahama? Like, yeah, but them people, they don't really move. And I'm like, what? What you talking about?
Right.
That's it. No, boy, not my Grand
Not my Grand Bahamian people.
No, man, because, dude, when I get on stage, just like, I get that response. So it's like, I'm like, wow, I don't even understand why y'all saying that kind of thing. So
Right.
we normally have this discussion, but it shows the love too. And so like I feed off, and I don't know how it is for everybody else, but I feed off energy. So if the energy is there in the crowd, if it's there, and I look in your eye and I see you moving, I look over here, I see 5 people moving. Oh, no, and I sing in the all 5.
right, yeah.
That on, you know, the kind of way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, but singing here, coming to Grand Bahama to perform, it's been so amazing. I got to thank the Grand Bahamian people for accepting me, for bringing me, to allowing me to be a part of the family, to come here and to perform. I mean, it's like family. I mean, I got so many persons that reach out to me on a personal thing, like DM me and like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, okay, cool, you know, that kind of way. And so it's a relationship that's built, and I see these people like every show, don't care what it is.
I love it.
They are at every show, you know.
And me was around me from 3 weeks ago say, nah, listen, D-Mac will be coming for Gombe. Make sure you get him on your show. That's my favorite Bahamian answer. My mommy don't listen to secular music at all.
Oh, yeah?
My mommy is a Christian, just like we don't have, if don't say Jesus, it ain't my mommy house. But D-Mac, July, Independence, she can allow it. So it's like this interview, she really was looking forward to this. So big ups to you, mommy.
Yeah, hey, mama.
Got him in the chair. But
we're
going to let you go to Gombe and prepare. This has been an amazing conversation.
Yes, it has.
Very eye-opening. I love the charge that you gave towards Zen in terms of really getting down and on paper and in writing what we're doing in terms of Bahamian music so it could last longer and be properly preserved.
Yes.
I think that's the most important thing. That's what we could do, especially for our ones who have already passed and move on. Yeah. Make sure this thing don't switch up and end up being something it
I mean, because if we look at it different circuits, we all were in world music one time ago with reggae and soca. And now reggae is out, has been out a long time.
Yeah.
Soca is doing its thing. I think we help soca more than
soca help us.
And we still helping them. And we still right there sitting, and that's why I tell you I was fighting, because we still in the garage trying to build this machine, to go get this machine out there to go win this race.
Yeah.
But every time somebody come roll up with one sports car, we go run outside and we won't fix their car and our car right there.
Yeah, our car break up. All they need is a tire, we need engine.
Yeah,
right.
Kind of, we got to focus on us to make sure, and that's a national thing.
Yes,
across the board. That's a governmental thing across the board. While I don't expect the government to do or come give us money, I do expect the government to open up channels and give us opportunities and give us the ability to
lead the charge with it.
To lead the charge with getting this music out to the world.
Got you. I agree 100%. So thank you so much for stopping on. And
yeah, pleasure.
This has been amazing.
When you need somebody to talk plenty, call me.
Definitely, I'll be doing that again. So thank you so much for stopping on, and thank you guys for watching this episode. And looking forward to seeing you guys in a few minutes at Gombe. Right there.
Oh yeah.
So y'all take it easy. Till next week. Bye.